Historically, we do better with countries that keep good records, and it takes a lot of time to get them, but we can get them. But our interest is not just in creating the historical investigation, it's trying to figure out who's doing it in real time and stopping it a lot faster. We do have to modernize our ability to do real-time undercover investigations with countries who are willing to accept the fact that we're not trying to undermine their authority, we're just trying to protect our own citizens. But if you accept the fact that it is really difficult to track the activities of people in other countries, it does end up coming back to the US. Interestingly, when credit card, debit card information is stolen in the US, invariably the groups that do it, even the ones using very sophisticated malware, the trick for them is to try and turn that into money. As Ilya showed, some of these, the money is huge for these organizations. But it's one thing to show how much they can make. It's another thing to actually turn it into cash or rubles in their pockets. And that cash out usually occurs back in the US. So it's sort of an interesting way. The information is stolen by people outside the US, from within, from San Diego. The information goes to a foreign country, gets packaged, gets sold, gets put on consignment. There are middlemen all over the world who sell this information back to cash-out groups. And then people on the street here in San Diego will take these cards, take them to ATMs, take them to local stores and turn them into gift cards. The new currency of crime is the gift card. And then the gift card is as good as cash. Get that back into the hands of their sponsors back overseas. Our ability to interdict is really at the level of the cash-out people. Now, these cash-out people are not sophisticated criminal hackers. As you can imagine, people who are willing to put 30 or 40 or 50 credit cards into an ATM, getting their picture taken every time they do it, are really not the cream of the criminal crop. So, while we can have some success of identifying them and taking them off, they really are a dime a dozen, and we've gotten nowhere truly in terms of addressing the problem. The only way there are really only two ways we can effectively address, and this is just a small part of the cybercrime, cybersecurity continuum. I'm not going to address all the other stuff. There are only two ways that we can deal with this. One is by modernizing our relationships with the countries in which the criminals are actually operating. I don't have a lot of hope that that's going to happen anytime soon. I would love it to. We all say the right things. We write great treaties. But when you actually try and act upon them, you run into bureaucracy. It's the nature of government. Our government is just as bad. I'm not saying that we're good. We are just as bad. Andres is right. I mean, if the Mexican government wants information formally from the United States, it goes to the State Department, it goes to the Department of Justice in Washington. They kind of figure out which is the best U.S. Attorney's Office to deal with it. It goes to the U.S. Attorney's Office, it goes to their international coordinator, it goes to the actual section in the U.S. Attorney's Office that might deal with that crime. It lands on the desk of an otherwise overworked prosecutor who has their own cases to worry about to say, and I have to do this for Mexico, why? I mean, it's just a fact of our lives. And we do it, but it is not a priority. We have to be able to fix that. So I don't have a lot of hope that we're going to be able to address cybercrime in the near future with better international agreements. How do we address it? By being more secure here. I mean, cybersecurity is the key to stopping the theft of our data. We have to be better about securing personal information, securing information we care. Let's make it the bigger picture. Information that's important to your company, not just information that's important to you as a citizen. This information needs to be secured. People need to know where it is, why it's there, who has access to it, when they have access to it, and anomalous access needs to be identified, and information exfiltration needs to be stopped. We have to do that. I mean, I am the tail wagging the dog. If I have to go after somebody, for the cybercrime, we've already lost. The data's already gone. Somebody's already been victimized, or the United States has been compromised in some way, which is very hard to deal with. But if we can do a better job, from the biggest companies to the smallest, and get them to protect the data we care about, we will actually make a huge difference, and I could work less hours. which, you know, and the FBI agent sitting in the back are saying, how could he possibly work less hours? When Andres was telling that story about working with his prosecutor, I said, has he been talking to my agents? I mean, I'm sure they have their own horror stories, which they can tell if they want to, and if they ever want to get a case done again, they won't. They do call me Dr. No in our world. But anyway, so the point of my little spiel was to say that cybersecurity, it's great to talk about cybercrime. It's interesting. We can all tell great stories about it. But we need to be better in terms of cybersecurity as a community in order to make us not have to deal with the cybercrimes that I tend to deal with today, the identity theft. So,
thank you, Mitch.